Hello everyone, welcome to What If Luffy Made Multiversal and I am Crew to Become the King of Pirates Part 2. Before we start, please go support RAPTOR10 for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. Chapter 6. Hitting Morgan's chest, Luffy's hands made him spit blood before sending him to the other side of the yard. Then rubbing violently against the ground, he created a huge trail in the floor before finally stopping by hitting a wall. Stunned, he made no move to get up. Seeing him in this state, Eraser took a step towards him before falling on his knees. He was beaten. The colonel lost. Confirmed a soldier. Which means began another. Weapons were suddenly thrown into the air as the men began to shout. We are free. They are really happy that their commander was beaten. Zoro noted. No, it's just that they were enslaved since he was here. Said Lucy, watching each of the men celebrate Luffy's victory. Now this island will finally be able to find the calm it has always known. DSSSSSS it was just a bunch of cowards. Raynare said, shrugging. Ignoring them quickly, Luffy turned to Zoro before reminding him. By the way, don't forget your promise, Zoro. Now, I am part of your crew. The man assured him. You don't have to remind me, I always keep my promises. Suddenly, putting his sabers in their sheaths, he was dizzy and fell to the ground. Zoro. Panicked Luffy, Kobe and Lucy. It really feels good. Said Zoro, rubbing his stomach. I've had to lose quite a bit of weight during this last 3 weeks. If you had continued like this, you would never have lasted the last week. Luffy said, gobbling up a plate. Everything was in the mind. Affirmed Zoro. If I hadn't fought, I would have had enough strength to hold on and then, suddenly pointing to Luffy's stack of plates which was higher than his, he asked him. How come you ate more than I did? This type is just a glutton. Raynare assured him, sipping iced tea. Sorry for all this. Apologized Kobe to the owner of the inn where the small group was feasting. Don't worry. She assured them. After all, it is thanks to you that the colonel is finally behind bars. And also, suddenly approaching Zoro, she finally bent before him before thanking him personally. Thank you for protecting my daughter Rika and sorry for any inconvenience this may have caused you. Inconvenience, repeated Zoro. What troubles? What I have experienced, I can consider it as training in order to strengthen my spirit. Or proud, you die. Said Lucy. In any case, the meal was very good. Said Capricorn, passing a small towel over his mouth. Indeed, it's been a long time since I had eaten earthly cuisine. Loki agreed, with a toothpick between his lips. Seeing him, Zoro swallows crookedly. What blasses guy, I thought you were screwed like a colander. How long have you been here? Almost since the start of the meal. Affirmed the spirit. I wanted to tell Lucy that I was healed and she wanted to ask me to eat something. As for the fact that I am still alive, it is because I am a spirit and that the spirits are immortal. Immortal, repeated Luffy, with stars in his eyes. Very cool. Hey, wouldn't you two join my crew too? Smiling, hearing this, Loki said. If Lucy is part of your crew, you can already consider us as allies, Mujiwara. As long as she is with you, we will make sure to protect you when she asks us. Adds Capricorn. What is your crazy team? Wanted to know Zoro. First, we have an elastic guy, after, a woman who has raven wings, and finally, another girl who controls spirits. Is it me where demon fruits are supposed to be scarce? If he knew. Wanted to sigh Lucy and Raynare. Wanting to change the conversation, Lucy ends up making a drop of sweat appear behind her head when she sees a big golden block behind Raynare's chair. What is that? A piece of the golden statue of this tyrant. Taught her the fallen angel. With such a quantity of gold, I can exchange it for a lot of money. You are really addicted to money. Luffy said, swallowing a steak. You're the same as me with food. She retorted. Addicted or not, I think your gold block is way too heavy for our boat. Noticed Lucy. I think you should get rid of it. Out of the question. Retorted Raynare. I have already separated a large part of Alvida's treasure. No way to start again. If it's a question of storing this somewhere, you can entrust it to us. Said Capricorn. Said the two girls. Yes, Virgo was the type to store all the works of art of its former owner. Loki explained to them. We just have to warn her and she will come and take all of this from you. Hey, wait a second, who is this Virgo? Wanted to know the fallen angel. No way, I'll give her my gold if I don't know her. It's either that or you leave the gold here. Retorted Lucy. Trying to stand up to her, Raynare ends up resigning herself before approving. It's okay. Okay, in this case, we will prevent her. Loki agreed, starting to disappear. But when Capricorn was no longer there, Loki looked at Luffy before ordering him. Make sure nothing happens to Lucy. No problem, assured him the pirate. See you next time. Seeing them go, Raynare ends up leaving her seat, sighing. Say that I have to ask strangers for help. What a shame. Why does it bother you? Kobe asked her. That should suit you, right? No. Raynare suddenly replied, leaving the table to go to one of the corridors of the restaurant. Usually, where I come from, it was more of each for himself and not counting on anyone to help you when needed. Hearing her, Zoro watched her go before asking. Is she really part of our team? I wouldn't say, but she seems rather reluctant to trust us. Don't worry, it's just that she has a hard time bonding with people," assured Luffy, continuing to eat. "We have only known her for 2 days, nevertheless her powers are super cool, and then, don't forget that it destroyed the cannonballs that threatened the city." Smiling after finishing a steak, he said to the swordsman. "She wants to be mean, but I know there's a little kindness in her." Listening to him, Lucy could only be surprised by so much kindness from a pirate. Even if she had a hard time telling herself, Luffy had a soul comparable to that of Wendy's, embodied purity. "Even if I have known him only since yesterday, I have the impression that I came across the best captain I could find." Finally, she got up too. "The SSS damn Fujiwara," Raynare growled, leaning against a wall in one of the hallways of the inn. "They really have the gift of getting on my nerves." Having just moved away from the dining room, she could have heard Luffy's words thanks to her developed sensory abilities. First surprised to hear someone compliment her like that, she then forced herself to reject any kindness on his part. "I am a fallen angel," she thought. "I am a superior being to these pathetic humans. They think I'm under his orders, but I'm just using Mugiwara to get my way." Suddenly, small footsteps were heard, moving towards her. Then, at the other end of the corridor, a small white figure appeared. Said Raynare. "Blue," suddenly cried Lucy's little white spirit, greeting Raynare. Seeing him alone, the fallen angel waited a few moments, giving Lucy time to appear in her turn. However, not hearing her arrive, the fallen angel concluded that Lucy had made him appear and that Plu had escaped her vigilance and that he was walking in the inn. Immediately, a smile appeared on the face of the fallen angel, who immediately rushed on Plu. Then, catching him in her arms, she ends up hugging him. "You're too cute," she said, sticking her cheek to his. Plu, said the spirit, who seemed barely ashamed to be cuddled like this. "As far as I can tell, you really wanted to hug him," sneered a voice. Freezing then, Raynare finally sees Lucy appear behind her. Currently, it was too late to protest any of her actions. "The SSS, you little," began the fallen angel. "Don't worry, I would not say anything to others," suddenly assured Lucy, pretending to close a zipper at the location of her mouth. You know, I have nothing against you, but I have the impression that you don't want to trust us," noticed Lucy. "I want to prove you wrong. I don't want to betray you or humiliate you, let alone leave you alone in your corner." "And why?" Raynare asked her. "What can it do to you if I want to be alone?" Suddenly taking her hand, Lucy grabs it before saying. "I would like to be your friend because a team can never be the best if one of its members is sidelined. We are both in the same boat, Raynare. Both of us come from a different dimension and we have a very specific goal, and to succeed, we must help each other." Then smiling at her, she asked her. "And then, wouldn't it be better if we team up to prevent Luffy from making the slightest mistake?" Raynare stared at her without saying anything, seeing her seem pleasant. Nevertheless, she ends up turning around before saying. "I have always lived without having a friend, so I don't see why I should need it now." Hearing her, Lucy ends up giving up. For her, it was now impossible that a bond that could be described as friendship could be forged between the two girls. However, as she got ready to join the boys, she heard. "You could just let me cuddle him from time to time," wondered Lucy. Then she saw the fallen angel, crouched on the ground, still holding Plu in her arms. I could trust you if you really promise that you won't say anything about what you just saw." Smiling immediately, Lucy assured. "I promise, Ray-chan." "Stop calling me Ray." "But it's cute," assured the young woman. "You wanted to see me?" Haim suddenly wanted to know a female voice. The head then emerges from the ground, making the fallen angel leap back. Seeing her create spears of light, Lucy positioned herself between Virgo and her before affirming. "No, stop, it's Virgo, another of my spirits." "Virgo," repeated Raynare. "The spirit who is supposed to store my gold." "Yes, it's her," said Lucy, before looking at her mind. "Did Capricorn and Loke explain to you why I wanted to see you?" "Yes," replied Virgo. "And after that, could I be punished?" Immediately, a drop of sweat purled behind Lucy's head, while Raynare asked her. "Oh, so you are the domineering type. I admit that I never have guessed it, given your airs of charming little girl." I never punished her," retorted Lucy. "It's just that Virgo wants me to punish her, that's all." "Is that so?" wondered the fallen angel, taking a step towards the spirit. Suddenly placing her hand on her cheek, she began to whisper to her in a sadistic voice. "If you want, I can take care of you, in my way, charming little slave. I love to dominate other girls." Raynare, cried Lucy immediately. Nevertheless, she was silent when she saw Virgo's eyes start to shine. "Yes, mistress," affirmed the spirit. "Take care of me." Tapping her forehead, Lucy eventually grabbed Virgo's shoulder and dragged her to the dining room, followed by Raynare. However, they barely did find the boys when the inn's front door opened to make room for Sergeant Eraser. Wearing a new top to replace the one stained with blood, he had once again become presentable. Nevertheless, Luffy and the others suspected that the coat must have hidden huge bandages. Hiding his pain, Eraser suddenly cried. "I am addressing all the pirates of this place. Being enemies of the Navy and the world government, I cannot tolerate your presence in our city any longer. Therefore, I will ask you to leave this place, otherwise, I would have no hesitation in stopping you. Cried several civilians, finding themselves near them. Is that how you treat them? It is them who saved the city. You haven't lifted a finger in front of Morgan. You're the Navy's shame. Looking down, as the remarks went on, Eraser could only say, yes, I know it very well. While she entrusted her gold to Virgo, Raynare wanted to know. What are we doing? Are we standing up to them or are we leaving nicely? I have my stomach full. Assured Luffy. And then, we were able to recover Zoro. We have nothing more to do here. Let's go to the Grand Line as soon as possible. Nodding their heads, the 3 members of his crew eventually followed him, leaving Kobe alone at his table. Hey, that concerns you too. Cried a soldier, advancing towards the child. Aye, Kobe started. If my memory is correct, you are the one who wanted to become a soldier. Remembered Eraser. If so, what are you doing with these pirates? Freezing, Kobe was trying to find something to say to explain his situation. However, he could never tell them that he worked for Alvida. Trying to find help, his eyes fell on Luffy and Lucy. Seeing him tremble, Luffy was about to say something when Lucy put her hand on his shoulder. Leave. Advised the blonde. If he wants to become a good soldier, he now has to fend for himself. As soon as we leave here, he will be alone and will have to do everything to gain autonomy. So Eraser insisted. I was forced into a pirate crew. Finally confessed the boy, suddenly saluting the Navy. For 2 years, I worked as a stooge under the orders of a pirate named Alvida. I would still be there if I hadn't met the road of Luffy and the others. I owe them everything. Nevertheless, despite this, my dream of becoming a soldier is greater than joining their crew in order to reimburse my head. They showed me what courage was, and I don't want to dishonor their trust. Suddenly shouting, he said. I promised them that I would become a great soldier, and I would become one with or without your agreement. Finishing to speak, he began to catch his breath after speaking without breathing once. Still looking on, Eraser said. You know, just now, I was serious in saying that a child had no place with us. The profession of soldier is very dangerous. Many are dead in order to allow civilians to live without fear of being attacked. I know, but Kobe started. On another side, Eraser interrupted. If we let people like Morgan become colonel, I don't see why I wouldn't give you a chance. Astonished, the child looked up at the sergeant, who displayed a sincere smile. In my opinion, you have many more qualities to become a good soldier than Morgan had. So don't disappoint me. Yes, Sergeant. Kobe said, trying to hold back the tears. As for you, I would ask you to join your boat. Eraser assisted, advancing towards Luffy and the others. Yeah, affirmed Zoro. No need to say it several times. But as Raynare, Zoro and Luffy left, Lucy, after letting Virgo go, ended up approaching Eraser before whispering to him. Now, you are the one who runs this island, so I count on you so that no other tyranny takes place here. If anything ever happens to Kobe or the locals, be sure I will come back and put my foot in your face. Just wanting to laugh, Lucy was surprised to see a tear roll down his cheek as he murmured. Thank you for all you have done. Smiling as she heard him, Lucy preferred to make it so that the civilian could not see his sadness and ended up doubling him. Nevertheless, she stopped again, looking at the soldiers who were in line behind him. Among them, she recognized a blonde head, which was made as small as possible. Recognizing him nonetheless, Lucy exclaimed. Become a good soldier, too, and not a tyrant like your father. Freezing in fear that civilians would recognize him, Hermip ended up nodding, however, to make her understand that he had heard her. Hey, Lucy, are you coming? Asked Luffy, who was already at the other end of the street. Yes, I'm coming. She assured. It really is a small boat. Zoro noticed when he saw what served as the ship for the crew. I know, but, in a while, we will have the most fantastic of all ships. Luffy assured him. Seeing the silver and gold that Raynare managed to collect, it wouldn't take more than a week before we could afford one. Joked Lucy. It's nice to dream. Raynare quipped, jumping into the boat before dropping onto her big bag of money, stolen from Alvida. Selfish angel. Cried Luffy, joining her. Kobe, he would have shared. We have our qualities, as well as our faults. Retorted the fallen angel. Kobe was born to be a good man. As for me, I was born to be a selfish person and caring only for her well-being. You don't need to tell us. Affirmed Zoro. Lucy and you are really opposites. Then helping the blonde to get on the boat, he put a foot on the shore and exerted enough pressure to move the boat. Let's go. Luffy announced, his fist raised in the air. Seeing him go into raptures, Lucy couldn't help but be saddened, noting that no one was present when they left. Still, she really hoped to be able to say goodbye to Kobe. Luffy. She heard suddenly. Luffy. Lucy cried a voice on the shore. Turning around, the 4 pirates could see Kobe, greeting them like a soldier. Thank you for what you did for me. Thank you for supporting me until the end. You're welcome. Luffy assured him, shaking his hand as a sign to see him again. See you next time. More emotional, Lucy stood up and started shaking her arms in Kobe's direction. That well, Kobe, and you have no interest in forgetting our promise. I'm counting on you to become a respected Navy officer. Yes. He assured. I would make sure not to disappoint you, I promise. Hearing him, Zoro smiled at him before sneering. The soldier who thanks pirates, we will have seen it all. Turning her gaze to the child, Raynare smiled a little before saying. He has a long way to go if he ever wants to be able to stop us. He'll get there, assured Lucy. I know he will find the strength to improve his abilities. All he needs is more confidence. Suddenly widening her eyes, Lucy couldn't hide her surprise, then seeing all the soldiers of the island greeting them, with a racer in the lead. Even Hermip was with them. Monkey D. Luffy, he cried. Know that your name is now engraved in the list of the Navy's enemies, you are now our target. Smiling nevertheless, he ends up letting tears run down his cheeks before adding. You are really amazing pirate, good luck to Grand Line. Shahehe. Sneered Luffy. For that, no problem. Goodbye and thank you very much. Thank them, Rika. Thank you for everything. Cried a civilian. You will always be welcome in my hostel. Assured a voice. Goodbye, cried Lucy, beckoning to the crowd watching them leave. Kobe, Eraser, Rika, Hermip, see you next time. Yeah, and this time, let's go. Announced Luffy. On the way to the Grand Line. Where should we go? Raynare asked him. Looking at the ocean for a few moments, Luffy remained silent. Finally, when he saw Raynare looking at him, he asked her. Is you talking to me? Of course, silly. She got angry. Wait, tell me you at least know the way to get there. Huh, not really. Sneered the pirate. I'm going to kill him. Assured the fallen angel, pretending to jump on him. Grabbing her clothes, Zoro could hold her back and say. To get to the Grand Line, it's simple since we are in East Blue, just head west normally, we should then fall on a huge mountain and, along the side of this mountain, we should find a passage. It will then take us to the Grand Line. The passage in a mountain, wondered Lucy and Raynare. That's what I heard. Affirmed the swordsman. To be honest, I was never really interested in going there, so I'm not sure how to get there. Nevertheless, and I say it with certainty, apart from those of the Navy, few boats which go there manage to come back. And to say my opinion, I think it would be necessary to find a real boat before we get there. We will think about it in due time. Assured him Luffy. Let's go west and see if we can't find an island where we can get a boat. With his finger pointing towards the sea, he remained motionless for a few moments before turning to his three companions. Where is the west? I will really kill him. Raynare assured, while Zoro still held her by her clothes. What do we do now, smart guy, if we don't have a compass? Open yourself, doors speared. They suddenly heard. Come to me, Pixis. Appearing then, a sort of bird with a compass on his head, stood before Lucy. What, wondered Zoro and Raynare. Wow, so cool, a compass with a bird underneath. It's quite the contrary. Retorted Lucy. But forget Pixis, show us the west, please. Then letting the needle of his compass turn on itself, Pixis ends up pointing it in one direction to show the requested direction. Great, you're so amazing. Assured Lucy, began to caress his head. What is this creature, wanted to know Zoro, looking at the bird. I thought I understood that your spirits were linked to the signs of the zodiac. Asserted Raynare. What sign is him? No, the zodiac's keys are golden. Said the blonde, showing the Pixis key. Nevertheless, there are silver keys like Pixis, as well as Plu. The spirits they contain have various uses, but are weaker than spirits from golden keys. Basically, he sucks in combat. Zoro understood. Feeling then lowered, Pixis put his knees on the ground and began to mop up. Zoro. Annoyed Lucy, before bending down beside Pixis. Don't worry, he didn't think it. Ah ha ha ha. Looks like Kobe. Sneered Luffy. He seems weak. It's true that he looks like a big whiner. Raynare agreed. This only further depressed the spirit, which threatened to return to the spirit world at all times. Don't listen to them, Pixis, without you, we will not be able to navigate in our eyes, you are very useful. No more than an ordinary compass. Zoro replied. Shut up, asshole. Suddenly yawning, Luffy ends up rubbing his eyes, before noticing. I really want to take a nap. And, a few seconds later, he was lying on the ground, sleeping like a stump. He took sleeping pills, wanted to know Lucy. Then seeing Zoro start to row, Raynare ends up stretching before getting into a corner of the boat. Me too, I'm going to sleep a little. Noticing that she hadn't closed her eyes since meeting Luffy, Lucy rubbed her eye and found that taking a nap would not hurt her. You can sleep, you know. Zoro informed her, continuing to row. I can move the boat alone. Thinking then that the presence of Pixis would allow anyone to find his way, even for a child, she ends up nodding, before letting herself lie on the ground. Falling asleep quickly, she made the grave mistake of trusting Zoro's orientation sense. Chapter 7. Quo quo quo. Awakened by shouts, Raynare finally opened her eyes before starting to growl. What is this noise? Looking for the source of the noise, she finally saw Pixis spinning around Zoro, while squawking. What's wrong with him, wanted to know Raynare. No idea. Zoro admitted her, continuing to row. He's been screaming like this since a moment ago. Finding that the fallen angel was awake, the spirit suddenly ran towards her before pointing at the top of his head. "What do you want?" Raynare asked, annoyed to be woken up like this. Nevertheless, she suddenly seizes Pixis's head before fixing the needle which was pointing towards the west. Then looking at the direction that Zoro was taking, she opened her mouth wide, noticing that he was going in the opposite direction. "We'll turn around," said Luffy, waking up at the same time as Lucy. "It's time to eat. We are going east." Raynare taught them before sending a murderous look to Zoro. "Asshole, don't you know how to use a compass? It's not my fault if he indicates me in the wrong direction." Zoro replied. "How does that indicate the wrong direction?" asked Lucy. "It is however not complicated to follow a needle, stupid man." "Chehehe Zoro, you're so funny," Luffy said. Getting ready to kick him, Raynare finally heard a strange noise, reminding her of the alarm of an alarm clock. "What is that?" "No, not that," cried Lucy, seeing Pixis's body light up. "Not now, too late." Disappearing then, there remained only Pixis's body, a few particles of golden light, which in turn disappeared. "But where is he?" wanted to know Luffy, looking for him. "End of contract," taught him Lucy. "I have exceeded the time I could give him. I couldn't call it back for a week." But Raynare wondered. "Is it a joke?" "I thought we could find an island in the meantime and pay us a map and a compass," taught her Lucy. "Not that we would end up lost." "I don't know where." "Great," raged the fallen angel. "What shall we do now?" "We let ourselves be carried by the current," Luffy said, shrugging. Before Raynare decides to strangle him, Lucy turns to Zoro before asking him. "How does it happen that you became a pirate hunter with such a bad sense of direction?" "I never wanted to become a bounty hunter," replied Zoro. "In order to be recognized as the most powerful swordsman in the world, I left my village to start looking for a man. I had been told that he had been seen on an island, however, he was already gone when I arrived. Wanting to return home, I ended up getting lost. 2 days later, as I had nothing to eat and needed money, I ended up attacking a band of pirates. This is how my bounty hunter career started." Listening to him, Luffy and Raynare said. "You really are not very smart." "Shut up," Zoro roared, turning red in the face in anger. "To sum up, we are lost in the middle of East Blue," noticed Lucy. "We no longer have a compass, and for the food, Luffy almost ate the whole bag of food we stole from Alvida," informed the fallen angel. "Missing more than that. For food, we can always fish," assured the captain. "And how, without a fishing rod?" Zoro asked him. Thinking about this, Luffy ends up hearing the cry of a bird from the sky. Raising his head, he could see a sort of pink seagull flying over the boat. Smiling, seeing it, Luffy ends up saying, "I will catch it." Preferring that he don't know stupidity, Raynare made her wings appear before flying in the sky. Flying towards the bird, she was about to attack it when she heard "rocket" passing in front of her. Luffy let himself sink like a torpedo before hitting the bird. That wondered the fallen angel. She then fell silent, seeing Luffy's head get stuck in the bird's beak, which was actually more than 6 meters long. "Help me," begged the pirate, being carried away by the bird. "Umbus." Raynare got angry, chasing them. "Umbus," roared Zoro, starting to row at full speed so as not to lose sight of Luffy. Clinging to the bow of the boat, Lucy suddenly exclaimed. "There is something in front of us," said Zoro. "What is that?" Narrowing her eyes, Lucy ends up distinguishing 3 silhouettes, as well as hearing voices asking them to stop. "These 3 men are asking for help." "No time to stop," affirmed Zoro. "They will have to hold on to the boat." "What?" Looking back at the men who were beckoning them, without understanding why the boat was not slowing down, Lucy ended up taking out one of her keys. "Come help me, Loke. Appearing immediately, the lion's spirit is ecstatic. "Yes, Lucy. Barely left and I miss you, right?" Instead of saying nonsense, "Help these men before the boat hits them," Lucy ordered him. Seeing them, the spirit sighed on the fact that they were not beautiful young girls. Nevertheless, jumping over the boat, balls of light surrounded his feet and allowed him to run quickly on the surface of the water. Catching the 3 men, he then made a magnificent jump back before landing on the boat. "It is done," he said, dropping them bluntly into the boat. "Hey, is it going wrong?" One of them got angry, putting his strange hat back on his head. "You almost got into us," noticed a second pirate, wringing his orange hair. "Lastly, for us, it's a boon," the third pirate sneered, pulling out a dagger from his belt. Imitating him, his 2 companions went to the 3 occupants of the boat and said, "We are pirates of the Boogie the Clown crew. So jump in the water and there will be no injury." "But what is wrong with them?" Lucy said as she trembled, frightened, hiding behind her spirit. "Decidedly, I really appreciate the gratitude among the bandits," said Loke, loosening his tie. "But a little warm-up will not hurt me." "What?" A few seconds later, the 3 pirates were laid on the ground with various injuries on their bodies. "Next time, make sure you are strong enough to beat us before attacking us," Loke advised them. At that moment, the boat stopped while Zoro looked at the sky. "The problem?" Lucy asked him. "I don't see them anymore," taught her Zoro. Damn it, we're again in trouble. Reeling with his arms, he raged. In addition to that, I don't feel my arms anymore. Don't worry, we now have 3 pairs of arms available. Locke assured, pointing to the 3 pirates. But the 3 men wondered. Catching them by their clothes, Locke pretended to throw them in the water before informing them. It's that or you will again say hello to the fish. We did it, cried the trio. Letting go of them then, Locke let them rush in place of Zoro, and, while 2 of them took the oars, the third began to smile awkwardly before affirming. If we knew you were so strong, we would never have attacked you. You are not fishermen, I suppose. No, pirates. Zoro replied. Pirates, the 3 men wondered. Suddenly, one of them saw Zoro's 3 sabers and began to stutter. Wait, you are Urano's Zoro? Yes, why? Trembling with fear, the 3 pirates ended up kneeling before him before begging him. Please don't deliver us to the navy, our heads are worth almost nothing. Are you deaf or what? I am no longer a bounty hunter. Repeated the man. So you are also pirates? Said Lucy. And you are part of Bambi's crew. Buggy, not Bambi. Retorted one of the 3 pirates, glad that his captain was not there to hear his name being distorted like this. Don't you know him? I heard some information about him. Affirmed Zoro. He is famous for being the holder of an explosive cannonball, as well as a rather high bounty. Bounty, wondered Lucy. Yeah, it's the buggy ball. Explained a pirate. A cannonball that can destroy a quarter with a single shot. Don't joke with that. As for his bounty, it is worth 15 million berry, easily classifying him among the 5 most feared pirates of East Blue. Dangerous or not, I am curious to know how 3 members of his crew found themselves lost, thus in the middle of the ocean. Confessed Locke. It's not like we wanted this. Retorted one of them. It's because of this red hair woman. Affirmed the second. If I ever catch her, she'll regret the trick she did for us. Assured the third. The girl Zoro wondered. Yeah, when we had just unearthed a fabulous treasure, we were about to return to join our captain when we saw a small boat appear on the board. There was a young woman who asked us to give her food and drink against a treasure chest. We didn't want to be rolled around, so, first, we went to see what contained her trunk. Continued the second. Nevertheless, it was empty and the girl had climbed into our boat while our backs were turned and set sail with our treasure. Laughing, hearing this, Locke said. Here is one that does not lack nerve. However, you didn't have an oar to be able to catch her, and where is the boat she left you with? Well, something strange happened in fact. It was like if she controlled the weather. Lightning fell on us under her command. Her command, repeated Lucy. In fact, she predicted exactly when a cloud, charged with lightning, would fall on us. Corrected one of the pirates. We were able to survive, but the boat sank. Suddenly, it's already been a few hours since we were at sea, waiting for someone to come and get us. And then, now that we no longer have our treasure, we are going to have a very bad moment with our captain. Suddenly, 3 simultaneous gurgles were heard. Said Lucy, seeing them roar in shame. You are hungry? No. Retorted the 3 pirates, looking away from her. Then getting up, Lucy advanced towards the sack of life, before removing 3 breads. Then, handing them to the 3 men, she said. You can take this if you want. Seriously, the 3 pirates wondered. Hey, it's our food. Said Zoro. We can give them a little. Lucy assured, seeing them looking at the food with envy. Thank you very much, miss. Thanked the 3 pirates, each taking a bread. You're way too nice, Lucy. Said Locke, seeing the 3 men start eating. In any case, this doesn't advance us. If I understand the situation correctly, you must find your captain who has flown away. I don't know where. I hope it didn't fall into the water. Raynare managed to follow him, so she will save him. Said Lucy. Are you sure? Zoro asked her. Raynare, can we really trust her? Of course I'm sure we can trust her to keep Luffy from getting into even more trouble. Then looking into the distance, Locke suddenly noticed. I think she decided to leave us a track. What do you mean? Zoro and Lucy asked him. Plunging his arm into the water, the spirit then drew out a black feather. There is another one over there. He informs Zoro by pointing it out. Raynare shows us the way. Understood, Lucy. You have to go there. Said the 3 pirates, looking at the direction it was showing. It's towards Orange Town. You know? Zoro asked them. Yeah, that's where we were going. Captain Baggy has settled there. Your captain is there, repeated Lucy. If Luffy goes there, Locke started. It's trouble guaranteed. Zoro finished. Feeling a cannonball graze it, the giant bird dropped Luffy before flying away. Falling, the pirate ends up crashing in a street at the middle end of an island. Hell, who rocks shells, he wanted to know, getting up. Anyway, thanks to that, at least, I'm free. But where are Zoro and— He stopped when he felt a fist hit him on the back of his head. Fool. Raynare got angry with a smoking fist. My urge to kill you only increases with every second I spend with you. I am sorry. Apologized Luffy with a bump on his head. Looking around, he ends up asking. Do you know where we are? Of course not. On the other hand, I left feathers behind me to show the way to others. Let's go to the port of this island and wait for them. Okay. However, they hardly took 2 steps when they heard. Come back here, you thief. Give us back our card. What Raynare began. Suddenly arriving in front of them, a woman, followed by 3 men, almost bumped into Luffy. But she wondered, seeing someone in this deserted city. Said one of her pursuers. Who are you? I will return the question to you. Raynare retorted. Chief, thank you for coming to help me. The young woman suddenly rejoices, staring at Luffy. Said Luffy, turning to Raynare. Am I supposed to know her? How do you want me to know? Good luck, Chief. Cried the woman, then fled, leaving Luffy and Raynare behind her. But that, so, like that, you are the leader of this thief. Sneered a pirate. She didn't care about us. Understood the fallen angel, then flew away. Hey, where are you going? Asked Luffy. Hey, we're talking to you. Taught him a pirate, placing his hand on his head. Finding that he was touching his straw hat, Luffy slapped his hand to make him move back. Don't touch my hat. He warned him, in a severe tone. How are you looking for us? Interrogated the 3 pirates, rushing at him. Pistol, cried Luffy, before striking first in the stomach. What? Surprised the other 2 pirates. Jumping then, at their faces, Luffy swung his foot towards them. Jet whip. Being ejected against a wall, the 2 pirates ended up on the ground, unconscious. Who were these idiots, he wanted to know. I don't know. Confessed Raynare, coming back to him. But I'm sure she can answer us. Suddenly dropping a body, she let Luffy see the young woman who had wanted to use him. She was fleeing to the port. Raynare explained to him. I could catch her before she left us. Hey, what are you doing? Wanted to know Nami, getting up. I didn't do anything to you. Are you making fun of us or what? Asked the fallen angel. Because of you, these men tried to kill us. Seeing them on the ground, Nami wanted to know. Did you knock them out? Yes. Why? Asked Luffy. How would you like to team up with me? Team? Repeated Luffy, while Raynare frowned. Yes, my name is Nami and I am a thief, to be honest. I steal the pirates I meet. The pirates thief? Raynare wondered. Yes, when you do it right, it can pay off. Explained the young woman. So these guys, were they pirates? Luffy asked, pointing to the guys they just knocked out. Indeed, they are part of the Boogie's crew. Right now, because of this idiot, we have drawn the wrath of a new enemy. Sighed Raynare. So, we are going to join the others and leave this island before this clown falls on us. Okay. Said Luffy. Wait. Wanted to stop them, Nami. What about my proposal? Not interested. The 2 companions told her, as they left. Please. Insisted Nami, running behind them. Suddenly placing her hand over her mouth, Raynare then led her behind the wall of the house and pulled Luffy's cheek to do the same. What? Wondered the man. Chut. Ordered the fallen angel. Eyes could they then hear? What happened to you? Passing their head over the wall, the trio could then see several men, looking like clowns, surrounding the injured men. Phew. Just in time. Raynare noticed. A little more and they found us. We must take them to the base. Cried a man. None of them have the Grand Line card. Noticed another. The thief therefore managed to escape. Is she the one who knocked them out like this? As they chatted with each other, the pirates eventually carried their comrades and started to leave. However, one of them remained motionless. Juggling 3 balls, a man, dressed like a magician, was inspecting the place. Magi-san? Asked one of his comrades. You come. See the time that passed between the theft of this card and now, I am sure that this thief is not far. Affirmed the man, throwing his balls in the air. Then removing his top hat, which he wore on his head, he let the 3 balls fall into it. Turning it over then, he surprised Luffy when the pirate noticed that no ball came out. Wow. He cried. The balls are gone. Shut up. Ordered the 2 women, placing their hands over his mouth. Said the so-called Magi, picking up a noise. Then advancing in the direction of the trio, he ends up cautiously approaching their hiding place. Then, taking a gun out of his hat, he put his finger on the trigger before glancing behind the wall. Grunting, he saw that there was no one there. A hallucination, he wondered. Finally, seeing no one, he finally put his gun in his hat and put it back on his head before joining his companions. What he didn't see, however, was a half-open window where the trio could have taken refuge. Now hiding inside a house, Nami breathed a sigh of relief, realizing that they were saved. For her part, Raynare was simply strangling her captain for his lack of discretion. You idiot, we almost got spotted because of you. So sorry. But this guy surprised me. He's a real magician. That's no excuse. However, finally letting go, she asked Nami. And I know what you stole from these guys so that they would chase you like this. This. Ends up admitting Nami, presenting them a card. What is that? The Grand Line card. From the Grand Line, the 2 pirates wondered. Yes, it was the Boogie's card and I managed to steal it with a lot of luck. Then settling on a chair, she ends up asking. In fact, who are you and what are you doing in this city? We are here because of this fool. Raynare growled, pointing to Luffy. Exactly, I wanted to catch a bird and it brought me here. Sneered Luffy, as if he was proud of him. Now we have to find our comrades. Really, and how many are you, in all? 4. Taught her Luffy. There is me, Raynare, Lu. Why is this city deserted? Raynare suddenly wanted to know. Is it because of the presence of this pirate, the clown I don't know what? Yes. Affirmed Nami. It's the famous Buggy, the clown. A pirate known for his love for cannons and the fact that he hates making fun of his nose. It seems he raised an entire city just because someone made fun of his nose. In addition, it seems that he fights in a very strange way and that swordsmen have no chance of winning against him. I know a man who wouldn't appreciate being told that. Raynare said. It's clear. Approved Luffy. So why is the city deserted? Didn't you hear what I said? Nami got angry while Raynare slapped her forehead in front of her captain's idiocy. But, in fact, since you are a thief, you are here to rob all these houses. Guessed Luffy. Who takes me? Raged Nami. I only steal from pirates. To put your life in danger, therefore, you must really love money very much. Raynare noticed, then made her way to a wardrobe in the room. It's not really that, let's just say I have to raise 100 million berries. Wow, that makes a lot of money. Asserted Luffy. You're more greedy for money than Raynare. You have to be silly to want to save that much money and refuse to spend it. Shahehe. The point of a spear then pointed on his neck while the dark gaze of the fallen angel gave him chills. Sorry. He apologized immediately. But that Nami wondered, seeing the young woman's luminous weapon while the angel opened the cupboard. Bingo. She rejoices, seeing clothes inside. Who are you? Asked Nami. And what was that spear? Oh, that it's just the power of my demon fruit. Raynare lied, making her wings appear. I ate the fall no me, I have become a fallen angel. Fallen, repeated Nami. As in the Bible. And what does it bring you? This makes me superior to you, miserable humans. Raynare said while taking various clothes that she could finally exchange them for those that Orpheus had given her. Hey, I'm not weak. Retorted Nami. I have enough guts to face any pirate on this planet and I will not give in to any obstacle. Even death doesn't scare me. Oh, a tough guy. Sneered the fallen angel. By the way, if you stole the Grand Line card, you want to find the One Piece, right? Remarked Luffy. The One Piece? Nami wondered. Of course not. What I want is to find pirates with more important treasures than the ones here. Well, good luck alone. Raynare said, looking at Pants. Already, you will have to find a person likely to know about it in navigation. Not worth it. Retorted Nami. Because nobody comes close to me in this area. Since childhood, I have been interested in ocean meteorology and now I can predict the slightest climate change by looking at the clouds or by the temperature. Very cool. Cried Luffy. That's good, we are looking for a browser capable of taking us to the Grand Line. That is true, glad Nami. But you are a crew of what, amateur explorers? No, we are pirates. Luffy told her. Raynare didn't even try to silence him. To be honest, she was quite interested in the head that Nami was going to make when she heard this confession. Widening her eyes, the young woman ends up repeating. Pirates, yeah. With you, we will be a perfect crew of 5. Out of the question. Got upset, Nami. I would never become a pirate. In fact, immediately forget my proposal. I would never associate with pirates. Wow, what aggressiveness. Raynare noticed. And can we know why you hate pirates so much? Because you are the worst villains in this world. Affirmed Nami. You are selfish, barbaric, think of nothing but your comfort and you loot people without any hesitation. Listening to her, Luffy remarked. She just described you, Raynare. You really want me to kill you or what? Angered his comrade. Seeing her get so upset, Nami shrugged before declaring. Well, you are talking about a united team. In any case, you didn't seem very clever to me. Or even interesting. Be careful what you say. Raynare advised her. Otherwise, I would have no hesitation, as you say, in stealing your treasure. Good luck. Affirmed Nami. I have nothing on me. To be honest, I wanted to steal Buggy's treasure with this card, but it was too well kept. The Buggy treasure, repeated the fallen angel. An idea then germinated in her head while she finally asked. If we help you steal it, could we consider sharing? The Buggy treasure, if we help you take it, I want 50% of the loot. No question that I associate myself with pirates like you. Retorted Nami. And why? Because there are great risks for you to double me and keep all the treasure just for you. Is that so? Was it not you who told us that you would take all the necessary risks in order to get as much money as possible? Would you be more fearful than you showed? It's not the same. Why should we help her steal a treasure? Asked Luffy. I don't really care. And you pretend to be a pirate, Raynare almost shouted. If we have to buy a good boat, we need money. Explained the fallen angel, keeping calm. Thinking about this, Luffy ends up nodding. Okay, that's fine with me. For me, I repeat, began Nami. Then bringing her mouth to her ear, Raynare whispered her idea to her. After a few seconds, Nami ends up asking her. That is true, I will not put my life on the line as well. I will be with you in case of a problem. Raynare assured her. Think you have a great chance of winning a lot by cooperating with us. Weighing the pros and cons, Nami, by nodding. Good, it's okay. Awesome. Rejoices Luffy. Welcome to the crew. I agree to steal Baggy's treasure with you. That's all, shouted Nami. Ah, said Luffy, disappointed. And how do we do, then? A long smile appeared on the faces of the two women, while Nami now held a rope in her hands, and Raynare sneered. "Do you want to sacrifice yourself for us? What, someone got angry. Sorry, Captain Buggy. Apologize to the three men that Luffy had beaten. The little thief ran away with your card. How come did she put you in this state? No, it was a kid who did this to us. We ran into him and another woman while chasing the thief. He seems to be skinny but, in fact, he is very powerful. Yes, in addition, I seem to see his arms stretch." Adds another. Said Buggy. "What is this story? I'm not sure about this last piece of information. In any case, he is very strong. Maybe a bounty hunter." Understood Buggy. "Okay, in this case Magi." "Yes," said the man, dressed as a magician, as he juggled his balls again. "Go to the port and destroy all the boats you find. If they are still in town, they must be prevented from leaving." Well. Magi agreed, making the balls disappear from his hat. However, as he set out, he finally said. "In fact, I don't think it would be necessary, Captain." "What do you mean?" asked the pirate. The vein appeared on his forehead when he recognized the young woman who was advancing towards him, accompanied by a couple of people. "You, Captain, it's them," assured his three men. "It's the thief and those who came to help her." "What is she doing here?" wanted to know the captain and the rest of his crew. "Did you capture him?" "No, she surrendered," someone said. "What, why this?" It was then that he noticed that Luffy was fully tied up and could not move his arms. "What is happening?" "We came to deliver our chef to you," Raynare taught them. "And also return your card," adds Nami. Made all the men around them. "What is this joke?" Buggy asked. "This person is only a stingy person who thinks only of him," affirmed Nami. "He tried to overtake us. For this reason, we decided to deliver it to you." "Prrr, Raynare, you traitor," cried Luffy while he had been tied up without one of the two girls explaining the reason to him. "I hate you." Bluing the heel of her boot against his cheek, the fallen angel said with a cruel smile. "I already told you, right, I would never consider you like a friend." "Oh, what a turnaround," noticed Buggy. "So tell me, why did you come here instead of running away from the island?" "We want to be part of your crew," said Nami. "Join my crew?" Buggy wondered, showing some form of anger. "Are you kidding me? I remind you that you have just stolen something very important to me. So I have no confidence in you. Who then is? I don't see what two women like you could bring to my crew." However, he ended up being silent, seeing Raynare spread her wings, while her clothes took on the appearance of those she had just found, finally making her serious. Then aiming at a house in the distance, the fallen angel created a spear of light before throwing it towards her target. A few seconds later, the pirates could hear the sound of an explosion, showing that it had reached the target. "I ate a demon fruit. I have become a fallen angel," Raynare said. Magi suddenly said, who had suddenly crashed in front of her. "Magic." "What?" "Magi, step back," Buggy ordered him, who was also interested in what he had just seen. "A user of a demon fruit, interesting." "Yes, and we are both professional thieves," assured the fallen angel, pulling Nami towards her. "Do you want a particular object that is hard to steal? Trust us, we will offer it to you in a few moments." "Oh, you seem very sure of yourself," noticed the pirate. "I don't really like people who like to look more interesting than me." Nevertheless, he ends up smiling before adding. "But I must admit that you interest me." "Come on, it's okay." The plan worked. Rejoices Nami, sighing in relief. Now, all that's left is to take advantage of a moment of inattention on their part in order to steal their treasure. Chapter 8. So we have arrived. Zoro understood, jumping on a platform. "Yes, it's Orange Town," said a Buggy's pirate. "In any case, Raynare is here," remarked Lucy, pointing at a black feather which was at her feet. "I hope they have not decided to attack the chief of this place." "Don't worry, if this clown decides to take revenge, I will protect you, Lucy," said Loke. "In any case, the city is deserted," Zoro noted. "Normal, with only cannon shot, Captain Buggy frightened the population enough for them to flee to the mountains," explained Pirate A. "Ah, so what if you take us to where your captain is?" "What frightened Pirate B? No way, if we do that, he'll think we're betraying her. You are Urano's Oro, anyway. Already we come back empty-handed, no need to add more," adds Pirate C. Then pointing to a building where smoke was rising, they informed. "The captain's HQ is over there." "Why is there smoke?" wanted to know Lucy. "They must be partying," taught him Pirate B. "Well," said Zoro and Loke. "So that means your captain is there, let's go take a ride to greet him." Seeing them go, Lucy prepared to follow them when she finally addressed the three pirates. "And you, what are you going to do?" Suddenly pointing to a small boat, they said. "It's our boat, which means that the one who rolled us in the flour is here. We will wait her to give her a good lesson." "Okay, in this case, thank you very much for taking us so far. And be more careful next time." Leaving, she could not see the three pirates who began to blush. "She is really pretty." "Yeah, much more than the Redeed. And she, at least, is an angel." "Prrr, Raynare, you are no longer part of my crew," got angry Luffy inside a big cage. And you, Nami, you can always dream so that we are friends. I never asked to be your friend. Retorted the Redeed. As the pirates partied to celebrate finding their cart and recruiting 2 new members, Raynare couldn't help but sigh when she saw that Luffy was even louder than them. Eat, eat. Buggy advised them. After all, this party is for you. With pleasure. Nami assured him, drinking a glass of alcohol. Hell, she has a sacred descent. Said a pirate who was competing with her. Remaining, on the other hand, Raynare saw people arriving towards her in order to give her food or drinks. Well, taste this meat. It seems that this is the specialty of the city, and this wine is known to even alcoholize a bull. Oh, don't be shy and come have fun with us. Seeing them do and behave rudely, Raynare found it hard to hide her disgust. However, she couldn't help to find it strange that neither of them criticized the fact that she was a fallen angel. To tell the truth, some even declared that her wings made her even more beautiful. The people of this world are really very strange. Eyes suddenly exclaimed Buggy. Now that the party is in full swing, do you know what's going to happen? It's time for the special Buggy Ball, cried his men, raising their fists in the air. But what? Nami wondered. Hey, I want to go out. Luffy ordered. Wait a little, Mugiwara. Sneered Buggy. Stay a little longer. After all, you will become the center of attention of this party. And before he could understand the meaning of his words, a cannon was suddenly taken to the center of HQ, and the tip of the ladder was directly planted in the direction of Luffy. They have disrespected me by stealing my card. I decided to blow you up in small pieces. What? Nami wondered. And to humiliate you even more, those who will shoot will only be your 2 former accomplices, sneered Buggy. What? Rightened the Redeed. They'll kill him, me. Looking at her, Luffy saw her discomfort very well as she started to lose her temper. Captain, in all honesty, I would prefer that we continue to party. Ceasing to smile, Buggy finally hardens his gaze before saying to her. This is an order. But, stops making your favorite. Raynare suddenly ordered her. Passing before her, the fallen angel positioned herself before Luffy before asking. If I kill him, would I be considered as a really member of your crew? Indeed, very good in this case. Bringing up a spear, she threw it at Luffy before Nami could stop her. Fusing like a shooting star, the weapon however ends up stopping a few centimeters from Luffy's throat when the pirate manages to wedge it between his feet. Shouting in fear, he laughed. Don't you mind, you almost killed me. Be quiet a little, you get on my nerves. Raynare ordered him, sending him a new spear in the direction of his head. This time, closing his mouth, Luffy managed to stop it with his teeth. Seeing him in this position, Buggy suddenly laughed. Well, this kid is a real clown. But Raynare, Nami frightened, advancing towards her. The Redeed then backed away, seeing her face of pure sadism, while she took pleasure in trying to kill Luffy. The captain said to kill him, so we're going to kill him. Well said. Declared Buggy. Nevertheless, finished playing. Suddenly throwing a matchbox at Nami, he ordered her. Light the wick with that. It will be faster. In a flash, this asshole will disappear from this globe. Yeah. Shouted his men. Come on, come on, come on. But stammered Nami, finding himself frozen. Finding himself in great danger, Luffy suddenly began to gnaw on the bars of his cage, hoping to escape. However, the seconds passed without anything happening. Beginning to get impatient, Buggy insisted. Nami, are you going to light this wick? Damn it, I can't. Wanted to shout the Redeed. It's hard, isn't it? Said Nami, turning to Raynare. When you try to play the strong girl, when you're weak, all that will happen to you will be to fall from above. Taught her the fallen angel. If you are not able to shoot someone you have just known, you can never go to the Grand Line and manage on your own. Listening to her without saying anything, Nami finally looked down and clenched her fist, aware that Raynare was telling the truth about her lack of courage. I am strong. She said, however. So why are you trembling? Asked Luffy. That, when a real pirate trembles, it's excitement. Affirmed the pirate, smiling. If you are afraid of facing these pirates, you will never be able to get out by fighting them. Before stealing a pirate, you must be ready to put your life on the line. Suddenly taking the matches from his hand, a pirate got angry. You really are not good. Let us do it. Seeing him then begin to strike one of the matches to ignite it, a second barely had time to unfold before she reacted. Pulling out 3 pieces of wood hung at her leg, she joined them together to create a long stick, which she used as a weapon. Not wary of anything, the pirate prepared to light the fuse of the cannon when Nami struck him from behind. Hissing, Raynare started to smile when she saw the man knocking the man down. However, the rest of the pirates didn't share her fun. Nami, what does that mean? Buggy asked. I will never kill anyone. Said Nami, standing up to him. And it is not a dirty pirate like you who will force me. I may be a thief. I have principles that I would respect, even if I have to put myself all the pirates of this world back. Smiling, in turn, hearing her, Luffy sneered. You seem more courageous, as well. Shut up, Nami ordered him. Suddenly, her ears stood up when she heard a strange noise. Turning around, she widened her eyes, seeing the fuse of the cannon, igniting. Oh no. She feared, running towards it. Nevertheless, getting up then, the man she had tried to knock him out stood between her and the cannon. As if I was going to let you do it. He sneered, pulling out a saber. It seems that we have a traitor among us. Noticed Buggy. And what do we do to traitors, guys? We kill them. Sneered four people, running towards the redeed, arms forward. I am stuck. She remarked, seeing them about to kill her. Nami, the wick. Cried Luffy, seeing the sting consuming itself visibly. What to do, what to do, what to do. Suddenly, two figures froze time, for an instant. The first, rushing towards the barrel, managed to cut the wick of the barrel and stop the propagation of the flame. As for the second, he cut the torso of the 5 pirates in one fell swoop. Seeing them fall to the ground, Buggy and Nami looked in amazement at the man with the 3 sabers who had just appeared in front of Nami, as well as the spear of light which had destroyed the fuse of the cannon. Hell, what's going on here? Wanted to know Zoro. Zoro? Rejoices Luffy. Luffy, but what are you doing here? You left your head stuck in the beak of a bird and now I find you tied up in a cage. It's a long story. Said Raynare, joining him. But, we will tell you all, once we get rid of this clown. What does that mean, Raynare? Wanted to know the clown, while noting that she had just cut the fuse from the barrel. You two betrayed me. I find it very difficult to consider Mugiwara as my captain. Raynare confessed to him. And it would be even more degrading, for me, to be under the orders of a face of makeup. Hey, are you okay Luffy? Wanted to know Lucy, being behind Luffy's cage. Lucy? Get me out of there. Suddenly feeling lifted, Luffy saw Lo carrying the cage. Decidedly, you remind me of someone I knew at Fairytail. Affirmed the spirit. Oh, you're there too, the lion. Hey, who are you wanted to know Buggy? Captain? Suddenly called Magi, resuming juggling. The man with green hair, Mugiwara called him Zoro. Zoro asked Buggy's men, looking at the man's sabers. Don't say he's the famous Roronoa Zoro. What can a pirate like you do on this island? Buggy asked. Did you come to take my head? No, I stopped jazzing pirates now. I spend my time saving my captain every time he is in the water. We can go, Zoro. Loke assured him, starting to leave with the cage. Nevertheless, several men suddenly got in his way, their weapons pointed at him. Why leave so quickly? Buggy asked them, with an unhealthy smile on his face. Suddenly bringing out the daggers from his sleeves, they wedged them between his fingers before attacking Zoro, who was turning his back on him. By killing you, I will become even more famous. Pathetic. Sighed Zoro, turning to him. Cutting it at lightning speed, he cut him in half, at the level of his pelvis. Shouting, the pirate eventually collapsed to the ground, inert. That captain, several of his men were frightened. Is he dead? Remarked Luffy. Zoro? Cried Lucy. Did you have to kill him like this? It's strange. Noticed the man. I feel like I barely touched him, as if my sword had not encountered any resistance. Finding that the danger had been averted, Loke put Luffy's cage back on the ground before making his fist shine. Now that we have time, let's open this by force. Nonetheless, as he was about to hit the cage, Zoro and him ended up screaming in pain, feeling 2 daggers running through their abdomen from behind. That they wondered, falling to their knees, while blood or light began to flow from their wounds. Zoro? Cried Luffy. Loke panicked Lucy, crouching next to her spirit. It's okay. What is that? Wanted to know the lion, when he saw a dagger cross his stomach. Haha, said Buggy's voice. Floating in the air, everyone could see his upper body flying and moving, while his lower body began to mock dance movements. As for his hands, each had left the pirate's arms and, using a dagger, had attacked the 2 men from behind. How is it possible? Wanted to know Nami. I ate the fruit of the fragmentation. Buggy explained to her, gluing the parts of his body as if nothing had happened. I can separate my body at will, which makes me invulnerable to swordsmen. Ah ha ha ha. Neared his men. What a joker this captain, I almost believed it. Idiot, he is not a terror for nothing. What a bastard. Spat Loke, then disappearing. Said a pirate, not seeing him anywhere. What just happened? We don't care, what matters is that he is dead. We were lucky, Zoro. Said Buggy. Targeting you at the same time, I admit that I missed your vital points, inadvertently. However, I wonder how long you can survive with your injury. As if it will prevent me from winning against you. Growled Zoro, trying to sit up. Eyes, kill him. Buggy ordered them. Double swig of alcohol for those who cut off his head. Immediately, his men rushed towards Zoro, determined to be the man who will have the privilege of killing him. Nevertheless, they ended up being thrown back when a lance exploded at their feet. No more laughing. Raynare assured, flying through the air. Do the blades do anything to you? Very well, in this case, I will skewer you. Nevertheless, she cried out in pain, feeling a bullet pass through her shoulder. You have too many openings. Magi said, with a gun in his hand. Falling backwards, Raynare ends up holding his shoulder, crying out in pain. Bastard, you will pay for that. I'm Magi. Presented the man. One of the 4 lieutenants under Captain Buggy's orders. Ahaha, good work, Magi. Congratulated his captain. So, Plague, do you see the power of my crew? This is what happens when people laugh at me. What power wanted to know Luffy. You attacked Zoro from behind, you're just a coward with a big nose. Freezing immediately, the Buggy's pirates almost fell backwards. Idiot. Cried Nami. He hates being laughed at. Mugiwara bastard. Buggy raged, running towards the cage. Nevertheless, the anger in his face turned to fear when he saw Zoro suddenly lift the tip of the barrel and, despite his injury, turn it towards the clown. But there's always your bull inside. Raynare said, then jumped onto the barrel. Holding her shoulder, still feeling her wound make her suffer, she began to stare at Magi in anger before starting to smile. Burning Mugiwara in small pieces, that's what you wanted to do, right? Then showing a match between her fingers, she ends up striking it against the surface of the barrel. Eye for eye, tooth for tooth, you shot me, I send you a bullet in the face. No. Buggy begged. Too late. Embracing her, Raynare burned the little wick that remained and fired. Shouting one last time, Baggy's crew disappeared in the explosion caused by the cannonball. Taking advantage of the smoke, Zoro immediately went to Luffy's cage and pretended to carry it. Oh, come, let's go. Nevertheless, opening, as he moved, his wound only worsened and failed every moment to make him tear out a cry of pain. I'll get there. He assured. It was then that he noticed that someone snatched the cage from his hands. Let me do it. Assured him of a huge creature resembling a bull. But Zoro started. Suddenly taking his arm and wrapping it around her shoulders, Lucy said. It's Taurus, one of my spirits. Don't worry, he will carry this cage without any problem. Nodding his head, the bull ends up running, with the cage on his back, accompanied by Nami and Raynare. Beginning to follow them, Lucy noticed that the smoke was dissipating. Wanting to see if their opponents had been put out of action, she stayed a few seconds to see the extent of the damage. Do you think they were knocked out, she wanted to know. Seeing the physique of some, I doubt they can get up. Said Zoro. Nevertheless, he noticed his error when the two friends saw a huge metal plate appear when the smoke disappeared. And to believe the marks she was wearing, she had blocked the cannonball, thus protecting Buggy's crew. But hurry up and go find them. Buggy ordered, on the other side of the plate. You have to go. Understood Lucy, fleeing immediately. But what is this iron wall, how did it appear? It looks like magic. Chapter 9. I drop you here. Taurus assured, placing Luffy's cage on the floor. Thank you, cow. Thanked him Luffy. You got me out of a mess. There is nothing, Moo. You can go back now. Said Lucy, arriving with Zoro. And while the bull disappeared, Raynare dropped to the ground while her shoulder injury was struggling to close. Hell, if I hold the idiot who shot me, he will pay me. Suddenly looking up, she noticed Luffy turning his head to the side, not to look at her. Who has he? Yet Zoro asked him, seeing the gesture of his captain. I am angry. He learned. I almost died because of one of my companions. Are you still sulking? Raynare asked him. Don't be spiteful for so little, and then, I did this for 3 reasons. Know the level of Baggy's crew, find out if stealing his treasure was possible, as well as showing our friend, the navigator, the dangers of putting someone stronger than her on her back. Navigator, repeated Zoro and Lucy, looking at Nami. She joins the crew. No. Retorted the redeed. And then, I don't see how it is your business that I put my life at stake like this. I'm smart enough to manage. That's what I thought too, when I decided to ignore Azazel-sama's orders and do whatever I wanted. Raynare tottered. I very quickly regretted it. Azazel, repeated Zoro. Who's that person? He was my boss before I met Luffy. But forget it, this girl reminded me of me when my arrogance took over reason and overestimated my abilities. I wanted to teach her a little lesson. DSSS, a good pirate, don't make me laugh. However, suddenly rummaging through her pockets, she ends up extracting a key. Bold, use this to open the cage. She say, as she threw it in his direction. The key. Rejoiced Luffy. However, a small figure then came out of an alley and jumped towards the object, which it managed to catch in mid-flight. Said Luffy, trying to identify the figure. Stopping outside a pet store, a little white dog was the little thief, who now held the key between its teeth. The dog wondered Lucy. What is it doing here? All alone, wanted to know Nami. The key. Suddenly shouted Luffy, stretching his arm. Give me the key. Patching the dog, he managed to pull it up to him. Unfortunately, banging against the bars of the cage, the dog opened its mouth wide and the key fell there before being swallowed. Seeing this, there were a few seconds of silence. It has, began Nami. Continued Lucy. The key. Zoro finished. For her part, Raynare suddenly burst out laughing, while Luffy began to strangle the dog so that it spit out what it had just swallowed. Spit the key. Spit the key. Spit the key. Hey, you, what are you doing to this poor animal? Asked a voice. Said the pirates, turning to see the silhouette of a man in armor. Who are you? Wanted to know Zoro, taking a saber in his hand. Friend or enemy? I will return the question to you. Retorted the old man, pointing a spear in their direction. Who are you? Pirates. Luffy told him, finally letting go of the dog. Pirates, repeated the man. Are you from the crew of Buggy the Clown? If that can reassure you, he wants to kill us. Raynare informed him. What do you mean and why is this young man in this cage? Buggy locked him in there. Taught him Lucy. We had the key, but the dog just swallowed it. If you are pirates wanting to plunder the city, you can leave. Informed the man, putting away his spear. Since Buggy is here, there is nothing more to steal. Who are you? Asked Nami. My name is Boodle and I am the mayor of the city. The mayor. A few minutes later, looking at Chaochu eating a bowl of kibble, Lucy understood. So his name is Chaochu, and he decided to stay in town, so you come to feed him every day. That's it. Said Boodle, sitting down in front of the store. Okay, I just took your 2 injured friends. The swordsman fell asleep and the girl insisted on taking care of her shoulder on her own. These 2 are not human. Said Nami. What does this stupid dog, all alone, do here? Wanted to know Luffy, still trapped in his cage. He keeps his owner's store. The mayor told him. Then lighting a pipe, he told the story of the young dog as well as of its owner who was now deceased. For 3 months now, this dog has stood guard in front of this store. Nami wondered. But does he really have no idea what happened to his master? Wanted to know Lucy, stroking the dog's head. I'm sure he does. Affirmed the mayor. It may be me, but I have the impression that this shop is like his treasure and that he makes sure to protect it to honor the memory of his master. Treasure, repeated Luffy. Take example on him. Suddenly advised Nami. Even animals can behave better than humans. Why do you say that? Questioned the 2 pirates. For nothing, bunch of, she began. A loud roar was suddenly heard. What was that? Panicked the 2 women. It's Morge, a Buggy's lieutenant, and his lion. Boodle taught them, trembling with fear. Lieutenant? Yes, Buggy has 4 lieutenants. In the order of power, there is Morge, the beast train, Bull, the cannon man, Kabaji, the acrobat and Magi. The magician Morge is still riding on the back of a gigantic lion. Richie better to run. Looking at each other, the 2 girls eventually ran away, leaving Luffy. Hey, don't go, help me out. Then turning to the dog, he begged him. Spit the key, please. Starting to yawn, the animal showed him that it was not ready to cooperate. Suddenly stopping to run, Lucy ends up turning to look behind her. Hey, what are you doing? Asked Nami. Let's not stay there. I have to go help Luffy. Affirmed the blonde. At first, I thought he could manage on his own, but in the end, maybe fighting in this cage is too big a handicap for him. Then turning around, she let out the other woman's weary sigh. Damn it, but what is the problem with these pirates? However, as she prepared to flee further, something inside her made her refuse to continue. She, who had insulted them so often, realized that she was more cowardly than them. Raynare had been right on one point, she was nothing ready to go, alone, on the Grand Line. Finally, with regret, she ends up making a turn. These morons. Arriving in front of Chaochu's store, Lucy suddenly stopped, seeing the store completely burned by the flames. What? Screaming to death, Chaochu was in front of his store, which went up in ashes. If it had been a human, it was clear that he would be crying and begging for the flames to stop the carnage. But the store, this tamer burned it. Nami was horrified, coming behind her. Arriving in turn, Boodle then fell to his knees before punching the floor. How many more things will they destroy until they are satisfied? Clenching her fist, Lucy ends up hearing a footstep behind her. Turning around, she saw Luffy, wide-eyed, stunned by what he saw. He was now out of his cage and, unfortunately for the one who had just delivered him, able to beat up anyone. Approaching him, Lucy questioned him. Let's go. Yes. Luffy assured her. With a dark look, he ends up punching his fist before affirming. Let's smash the head of this trainer. Damn it, Richie, do you see where your greed leads us? Asked Morge, seeing the bite mark on his arm. You eat and I get bitten. GRRR. Just said his lion, holding a packet of kibble between his teeth. Finally, anyway, now that your stomach is full, Rorano will not stand a chance against us. Morge assured, sneering. However, he was silent when he saw 2 people standing in front of him. You? Wondered the trainer, recognizing Luffy. I thought I had already settled your account. Then looking at Lucy, he smiled again before noticing. You, I assume that you are the blonde who arrived with Rorano. Great, since you kindly offered to come and see me, I would have taken care of a good part of the job. But before you kill yourself, can you tell me why you came here instead of staying hidden? You dared to take it out on Chaochu and you destroyed its store. Said Lucy, taking out her keys. So we came here to avenge him. Assured Luffy. No one has the right to destroy someone's treasure without suffering the consequences. Avenge was surprised Morge. That stupid pooch, I have never heard anything so ridiculous. But Okarichi attacks. Letting its master leave its back, the feline immediately ran towards the 2 pirates. I'm taking care of it. Assured Lucy, waving one of her keys. Scorpio, over to you. Appearing then, a humanoid scorpion raised his tail in the air before shouting. Let us do it, Sandbuster. The tornado of sand then emerged from his tail and spurted towards the lion. Unable to fight against the power of this attack, he ended up being thrown back and crashed against the facade of a house which then collapsed on him. Richie Morge horrified, seeing his animal being beaten so easily. The hand grabbed him at the neck and the man panicked when he saw Luffy's very long arm. But that. I ate the fruit of gum gum. Luffy told him, face down. Devil's fruit, you do both have powers. Seeing them remain silent, he ends up begging. Pity, I am sorry, if you want, I will give you all the treasures you want. Too late. Retorted Luffy. Now that you've destroyed Chaochu's treasure, nothing can bring it back suddenly, it only remains for me to break your face. I don't recommend it. Replied the man. In the crew, he has other very strong people. Bull, Kabaji, Magi and the captain, of course if you ever touch me, they'll all fall on you. But when are you going to close your mouth, asked Luffy, pulling him towards him. If you see your captain again, tell him this for me. Big nose, get ready to take a beating. Then hitting Morge in the face, he dropped him to the floor, unconscious. Ah, it lets off steam. Affirmed the captain, adjusting his hat over his head. As Scorpio returned to the spirit world, Lucy suddenly picked up something from the ground. Hey Luffy, said the captain, looking at the packet of kibble she had just picked up. Returning, a few minutes later, to the place where they had left Nami and the others, they saw only a heap of burnt wood at the place where the Chaochu's store once stood. The dog seated before the place had stopped barking and looked at the carnage with a head devoid of emotion. No one could tell if he was still sad for his store or angry against Buggy and his gang. Poor animal. Lucy noticed, walking towards him. All of this is your fault. Then got angry at Nami, running towards them. The fuckings pirates like you, I hate them. Stopping her then, Boodle prevented her from hitting them. Finally ignoring her, Luffy sits next to Chaochu before placing the bag of kibble in front of the animal. Dear sorry, but this is the only package I could recover, the lion had eaten the rest. Then stroking the head of the animal, he said. I didn't see you fight, but, seeing your wounds, you fought with dignity. Your master would be proud of you. Assured Lucy, approaching the animal in turn. But, you know, now that the store is gone, I think he would like you to start a new life. How would you like to join the people of this village, in the mountains, and see if none of them would try to have a dog as extraordinary as you? No, but isn't it okay to tell him that, cried Nami. This poor animal has just lost his store and you. But she stopped when she suddenly saw the animal go, taking the packet of kibble with him, the only memory, from now on, of his master. But that, I know what it's like to lose someone you love. Said Lucy, dropping in a suit. I know that rehashing the memories of the person we lost is the worst torture now that its only connection to this world has disappeared. It is essential for him to find another, rather than moping. Stop moping. What Buggy wondered. What happened to you, Morge? I lost against two of the people, the captain. The tamer told him, while his face was covered with blood, like the body of his lion. What did Zoro and Raynare put you in this state? No, it's the blonde and Mugiwara. What Mugiwara? Impossible, how come? The blonde, she can make monsters appear. Affirmed Morge. And Mugi he is. Fainting then, he fell to the ground, again unconscious. Make monsters appear, repeated a pirate. Does it unlock or what? As if it were possible. Maybe not. Buggy retorted, suddenly scratching his chin. Don't forget what happened. Just now the guy I killed, the red-haired, he suddenly disappeared, as if he had disintegrated. He was maybe one of this famous spirits. Say like this, that would explain a lot. Confessed a pirate. But then that means that with Raynare, they have 2 demon fruit users in their team. What are we going to do then? Simple. Said Buggy. Prepare the cannon this time, they will taste the buggy ball, and we're going to bomb them until the city is smashed. Luffy, what are we going to do now? Lucy asked him. What do you mean, wanted to know Luffy? At the start, the main goal was to free yourself from your cage and leave this city. However, now that I have seen the cruelty of these men, I will never forgive myself for leaving the city in their grip. Clenching her fists, she said. I want to fight against the buggy's crew. No, but are you crazy? Wanted to know Nami. You have no chance, face them. Do I have to remind you that our escape was played by a thread earlier? It's because I was locked in a cage. Luffy retorted. And how does it change? It's not up to you to fight them. Suddenly Boodle replied, tightening the grip of his spear. Yes, the only one who has to fight him is me. What? Cried the other 3. You too, thank you for beating one of Buggy's lieutenants. However, let me do the rest. I will beat them, no matter what it costs me. Don't do that, you don't have the necessary strength. Retorted Lucy. You are going to get killed. Adds Nami. Chaochu fought. Lucy fought. Luffy fought. Should I really be called mayor if I decide to do nothing to help my village find the peace it has always known? I must show Buggy that we are not just a bunch of cowards ready to flee at the slightest suspicious noise. Don't put your life in danger for nothing. Retorted Nami. Even if they take time to leave, they will end up clearing away when there is nothing more interesting here. You will then only have to repair what they damaged. No way. Retorted the mayor. This city is only 40 years old. It's me, the Chaochu's master, and the rest of the city who built it with our hands. If the store was Chaochu's treasure, this city is my treasure. Raising his spear, he finally says. And no one will destroy my treasure. But suddenly, a powerful explosion ravaged a whole row of houses, which collapsed like a tower of cards. But Boodle was surprised. My city. It was the buggy ball. Recognized Lucy. Big nose. Luffy got angry. No. Cried the mayor. The grocery store, the florist, my house. Suddenly freezing, he ends up declaring. No, your friends were at my house. But panicked Lucy. Immediately running towards the rubble, Luffy began to clear away everything that came to hand. Zoro, Raynare, you are there, answer me. Luffy. That it is useless. Retorted Nami, looking away from the pirate. They can't be alive. It's impossible. And why is that, asked a female voice. Raising their eyes immediately, the quartet could see the fallen angel flying through the air while holding Zoro by his hair. Ouch, 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 let go of me, silly girl. Ordered the swordsman, gesturing in the void. Your wish is my command. Raynare assured him, dropping him. Ooh. Cried Zoro, crashing into the rubble. Then landing near him, Raynare saw him get up while saying. I will make Raven sashimi. Thank you for your gratitude. Do you realize that you would have died if I hadn't heard the bullet that hit us? You speak, it was not this little bullet that would have killed me. Band of idiots. Suddenly Lucy cried, throwing herself on them. Hey, what are you doing? Wanted to know the two pirates, suddenly quite uncomfortable, feeling her arms tighten around them. Wondered Luffy. Are you again on our side, Raynare? I have been from the start, stupid. Replied the angel. You sleep or what? By the way, how did you manage to free yourself from your cage? The giant lion freed me. The lion, the storm. Suddenly the mayor cried, running towards Boogie's headquarters. No, don't go. Implored Nami. I am not afraid of these pirates. And I will beat them, even if my defeat is run ahead. Going away, the 5 other people saw him leave without one of the pirates making the slightest gesture to stop him. But we can't let him go like this. Remarked Nami. And why this? Asked Luffy, watching him disappear from his sight. This grandpa, he really looks like a real warrior now. Hey, could someone explain to me what I missed? Wanted to know Zoro. Since the house has exploded, I guess the clown still has not had his account. What shall we do now? Asked Raynare. Smiling, Luffy said. We will take the Grand Line card, save the grandpa and kick the clown's buttocks, the 5 of us can do it. How about that? 5 got upset, Nami. No way, I'm putting my life in danger. Is that so? However, it was you who wanted Boogie's treasure. Noticed the fallen angel. After all these adventures, it would be a shame to leave without stealing his precious booty. And then, he has your Grand Line card. DRRR. Said Nami, hesitating. Finally, her greed took over and she finally said. Good, this is what I offer you. We will team up to fight Boogie to leave the city and join the Grand Line. I will accompany you until I have collected enough money before you leave. Great. Said Luffy, smiling at her. Now that we have a navigator, the One Piece is at hand. I told you it was temporary. She retorted. A second explosion was then heard while a new part of the city went up in smoke. Okay, in this case, let's save the city. Cried Luffy. Chapter 10. Looking around, Boogie could only growl, seeing nobody in the city. Eventually regaining the ground, he let his upper body stick to the rest of his body. So, Captain A-Man asked him. Have you seen them? No, they managed to find a good hiding place. Or maybe we have already managed to kill them. Noticed someone. Do we have to keep shooting? Thinking for a few moments, Boogie smiled before ensuring. We have the Grand Line map again, and this city has nothing more to offer. We destroy it before leaving. Okay, Captain. But as the third cannonball was about to be fired, the pirates heard a voice. Boogie, show yourself, if you are a man. Said the clown, looking down. He noticed the presence of Boodle, who was brandishing his spear towards the crew. Hi, villager, who is he? I think to have seen his photo everywhere, Captain Boogie. Moggy taught him, juggling, as usual. I think he's the mayor of the city. Oh, a distinguished guest. Sneered Boogie. Hey old man, why did you come here? I am the mayor of this city and I can't tolerate longer your actions, therefore, I give you the opportunity to leave before I get angry. Looking him with surprise, the pirates ended up laughing. Ahaha, he is so funny. Do you think he's serious? No, he must have taken a blow on the head. Perhaps, but I want to have a little fun. Said a voice. Then, passing between pirates, a small man, with a huge head and a thick helmet, appeared. If you allow me, I will be happy to crush this mosquito, Captain. Yeah. It's Bull, the cannon man. Rejoiced the pirates. TSSS. Don't make me laugh. Retorted a voice. Arriving on a unicycle, a man appeared too, while taking a saber out of his mouth. No way, it's Kabaji, the acrobat, which to take care of him. Get out, losers. Moggy ordered them. He is a distinguished guest, so he deserves to die with a great magic. Do you want to fight or what? I take care of him. I'm going to kill him and you too. Seeing them bickering, Boogie sighed before sending a hand to Boodle. Grabbing him at the level of his throat, he then raised him to the ground level before declaring. No bother arguing with you guys. How about we play a game? Try to guess how long he will resist before begging us to spare him. Whoever gets it right can finish him. Ahaha, he won't resist more than 5 seconds. Bull retorted. I will not give up. Articulated Boodle. Said Buggy. If I beg you to spare me, I would never be able to face the people of this village. I came here to send you away, and I will. I won't let a bunch of freshwater pirates rule their law here. Freshwater pirates. Repeated Buggy. So how are you in such a hurry to die? Raising the man a little more in the air, he put him in the path of the cannon. In your opinion, guys, if we send a new buggy ball, do you think that the city will be watered with the blood of this brave and pathetic mayor? For that, you have to test. Someone said. Yeah, and here a special buggy ball. Seeing them preparing the cannon, Boodle struggled as best he could, unable to do anything. No, I don't want to die like this. I want to fight, like these young people. I don't want to leave this city. No, my treasure in the hands of these monsters. My poor friend. Said Buggy. Here is your end. But while the fuse of the cannon was going to be lit, the pirate suddenly jumped back to avoid a spear of light which was planted in the ground before exploding. Throwing back, just like his men, Buggy exclaimed. This attack, it's that damn fallen angel. Then feeling pain in his wrist, he was surprised to see, when the dust dissipated, Luffy, holding his hand while he had removed it from Boodle's neck. Mugiwara, I'm back, Buggy. Announced the young man, displaying a confident smile. And this time, I'm going to kick your ass. Finally letting go of the hand, he allowed it to stick to Buggy's body, while the clown angrily watched Luffy's team stand in front of him. Of course, Luffy was in front, while Raynare and Zoro stood by his side, just behind him. Preferring to be a little behind, Lucy stood a few steps away from them, while Nami, even further back, exclaimed. Let's make it clear, I'm here as a thief and not as a fighter. Do it yourself for the rest. GRRR. So they managed to escape my buggy ball. The clown got angry. So therefore, he is the famous Mugiwara. Remarked Bull, approaching the edge. Honestly, I would have thought that Morge would have lost to someone more extraordinary. No matter, let's not forget that Toronto Zoro is with him. Retorted Kabaji. Whoever kills him can quickly become famous throughout East Blue. Don't be too confident, you two. Retorted Magi. The fallen angel knows how to fight, and the blonde seems to me to have a lot of slaves. How are we going to organize ourselves during this fight? Wanted to know Zoro. Do we attack the chief or do we go straight into the pile? As long as this clown disappears from my sight, everything is fine. Raynare assured. Hey, don't forget that we must protect the city and not destroy it. Noticed Lucy. So, take it easy. No possible. Retorted her two comrades. They wanted war in this case, they're going to get it. No, go away. Replied Boodle, getting up. This fight is not yours, it's my fight. I'm the one who would beat Buggy, you have nothing to. Taking his back, Luffy smashed him against the wall of a house. The effect was dramatic. In an instant, the mayor of the city sank into unconsciousness. What are you doing? Bakanami panicked. Luffy, why did you do that? Lucy asked, rushing to the man's body. He was in our camp, he would have bothered us. He said. Better to leave him like this. Add Zoro. Are you both crazy? Nami got angry. What should we have done? Then Raynare asked her. He is so obstinate in showing his courage that he would have put himself in danger many times. We would have spent our time keeping an eye on him. We couldn't afford it as much as he stays on the ground, rather than putting his life at stake so stupidly, as well as ours. DSSSSS, what a shame. Said Buggy. Me who wanted so much to make him disappear with the rest of the city. Anyway, let him enjoy a last nap. When I'm done with you, I'll send him to sleep forever. You have no other nonsense to say? Asked Luffy. Huh, oh come and fight, big news. As if he wanted to do it on purpose, he had completely shouted the last two words of his sentence, making the Buggy's pirates and Nami tremble with fear. About Buggy, dozens of veins appeared on his forehead and threatened to explode. Big nose, you called me big nose again, Captain. Scared Bull. Calm down, I'll take care of this brat. Kabaji assured him. No way, retorted Buggy, jumping on the barrel before separating the hands from his body. I will kill him myself. Seeing him burn the fuse of the cannon, Nami immediately began to shout. Why did you provoke him, stupid? Run. Advised Lucy, starting to run, with the Redeed and Raynare. Luffy, what are you doing? Zoro asked him, seeing him stay put. Gum began the pirate. Buggy ball, shouted Buggy, firing his famous cannonball. Looking at Luffy, Magi ends up dropping his balls on the ground before shouting. Captain Nuu, too late. Suddenly inflating like a balloon, Luffy intercepted the cannonball inside his belly. Fusin, that said Buggy and Nami. Back to the center. Sneered Luffy, letting the ball run towards the clown and his comrades. Then detonating Buggy's HQ, Luffy resumed his normal appearance. That's done, you monster. Cried Nami. How did you do that? This is the Gum Fusin. I don't ask you what it's called, you moron. Frankly, you could have warned. Zoro announced. He loves getting noticed. Raynare reminded him, returning to the floor. Remaining silent, Lucy was looking at the top of the building where the Buggy's HQ had been built. Nevertheless, seeing the building remained in place, she finally noticed. It's not finished. Huh? Said her friends, looking up. As the smoke from the explosion cleared, they could see Buggy's cannon completely crumbled and unusable. However, behind the object, a huge metal plate had again stood up to protect the crew. But that Nami wondered. It's the plate from earlier. Recognized Zoro. Suddenly, the plate shrinks before to have the size of a chocolate bar. Then grabbing it, Magi dropped it in his hat before putting it back on his head. "We are saved, Captain," he remarked. Twice. Got angry Buggy, trying to drive out the dust that surrounded him. "They've turned my buggy ball against me twice." "Captain, they broke the cannon," a man told him. "What's the point? There is no point facing this guy. How did he turn the ball in front of us?" What happened?" feared Nami, stepping back. "How did they survive this?" "Apparently, Buggy is not the only man capable of fighting," Raynare remarked, staring at Magi. "Captain Buggy," cried a voice. Said Baggy, seeing Morge running towards him. "Are you awake?" "Captain, it is necessary that," he began. Suddenly seeing Luffy and his team with his eyes, he began to back away before affirming. "Be careful of him, Captain. The fallen angel and the blonde are not the only ones with powers." What do you mean?" "This guy, he ate a devil fruit, he's an elastic man." "But what?" cried Baggy, catching him. "Why didn't you tell me that right away?" "I tried," Morge assured him, starting to get strangled. "Ha ha ha." Suddenly snickered Bull, putting his helmet back on his head. "Awesome since the time that I expected a real fight. It's true that I was starting to rust," stated Kabaji, placing himself back on his unicycle. "Guys, get ready to attack them all," Magi ordered the rest of the crew. "Yeah, have no mercy," Buggy ordered, letting Morge fall at his feet. "Don't hesitate to kill them." "Captain," called him again Morge. "The blonde woman, she is able to summon monsters, but only with her keys." "Keys?" Baggy wondered, looking at Lucy. "Yes, those at her belt, they seem to be magic." "Interesting as information," remarked his captain. "Very well, in this case, Magi will charge you with it, knock out and bring her back. If these are her keys that have power, and not her directly, I must have them. If we manage to use these keys, we will have monsters that we can use as weapons and shields." "Okay," said Magi. "Bull, Raynare can fly, so you take care of her," continued the clown. "Kabaji, you want me to slice this Mugiwara into slices? As for me, I take care of Verano. As for the rest, you will support us and attack them as soon as they turn their backs on you." "Yes, Captain," assured his men. Taking their weapons, they immediately started to jump from the roof before landing one after the other in front of Luffy and the others. However, instead of attacking them, they began to run in all directions and disappeared inside the buildings surrounding the pirates or by rushing into small alleys. "What are they doing?" wanted to know Lucy. "Instead of attacking us head-on, they will try to surprise us on the sides." Zoro understood, drawing of his sabers. "Band of cowards," cried Luffy, starting to target the last fleeing pirates. Gum. "Don't let your guard down, Mugiwara," Kabaji advised him, rushing straight at him, saber forward. Seeing him coming, Zoro blocked the swordsman's sword in time before he could pierce Luffy's throat. "Verano is Oro." Kabaji recognized him. "It is an honor for me to cross swords with your saber." Seeing him blocked by Zoro, Raynare flew into the air before creating new spears. "I have something for you." But before to have the time to launch them, a figure rushed straight at her, like a cannonball. But she wondered, moving away in time. Passing a few centimeters from her, she saw Bull playing the cannon man before crashing against the roof of a house. "But how does it fly?" she wanted to know. Suddenly getting up, Bull put his helmet back on his head before groaning. "Hell, I thought I would beat her in one shot." Raynare saw him behaving like a charm. "How did you manage to fly like this?" "Awesome, isn't it?" "In fact, it is thanks to that." The man taught her, showing her the palms of his hands. Trying to identify the two objects there, the fallen angel was surprised to see only two seashells. "Shells. These are not ordinary shells," assured Bull. "It is a seller, who comes from Grand Line, who sold them to me. He said it was dials to create huge air currents." "Dials?" "Yeah, he assured me that these were very rare objects to find, even on the Grand Line. I use them as propellants. I have two on my feet, which allow me to propel myself through the air, and two others on my hands, in order to direct myself so I can fly for a few moments and become the one and only cannon man on this earth." Wanting to prove it, he held his hands back before 4 gusts of wind came out of his dials and propelled him straight towards Raynare. "Stop telling it to you," ordered the woman, throwing a spear at him. Hitting Bull's helmet, it exploded on contact. However, this barely slowed down the pirate, who continued on his way until his skull hit Raynare's belly. Spitting drool, she felt herself falling several meters further into another alley. "Raynare!" cried Lucy, starting to run where she had landed. The end of a whip cracked before her. Jumping back in time, she saw the weapon leave a trail in the ground by striking it. "You won't go any further," Morge assured her, standing up before her. Wanting to take his revenge, the man was now equipped with his whip while Richie stood right behind him. "Get out of my way," ordered the blonde, taking out a key. "Come to me, Sagittarius." Appearing immediately, a man dressed as a horse made a military salute. "Sagittarius, at your service." "Get rid of this guy, Sagittarius," Lucy ordered him. "No problem," assured her mind by brandishing his bow. Preparing to hit his arrow, using his whip, Morge eventually froze when he saw the dozen arrows that the spirit sent him at the same time. "But that move," Magi ordered him suddenly, jumping over him. Then shaking his cloak, he dropped 10 juggling balls toward Sagittarius's arrows. Touching them, his bullets exploded, blocking the rest of the mine's attack. Magi Morge wondered, seeing him land in front of him. Even with your kitten, you would be useless. Noticed his comrade. Let me do it, I take care of her and her. Silent then, he ends up asking. What is this thing actually, a minotaur? A minotaur? Got angry Sagittarius. I am a centaur, ignorant. I didn't see it like that. Admitted Morge. No importance. Assured Magi, then taking off her hat. Okay, come on, I'll let you launch the first attack. Go ahead, let me see if your arrows are fast enough to hit me without me doing anything. Unless you're just a barely good amateur dart player. Stung to the quick, Sagittarius prepared to shoot a new wave of arrows when Magi noticed. By the way, you must know, if you ever shoot, our men, who are hidden everywhere, will attack your dear mistress, who will then be defenseless. Sagittarius wondered, freezing. Nevertheless, if you do nothing, you will be my target. Magic assured him, taking 2 new explosive bullets out of his cape. You see, that's what controlling a situation. Either you attack me and your mistress dies, either you stay in your place, and it is you who dies. Seeing Sagittarius doing nothing, Lucy immediately ordered him. Sagittarius, don't worry about me. He only tells you that because he knows he can't beat you. Go ahead. I can't. Retorted Sagittarius, lowering his bow. Throwing his 2 explosive bullets at once, Magi was about to detonate him when a figure appeared in front of him. Regulus impact, exploding by shooting his fists at the balls, the newcomer protects Sagittarius from Magi. The magician, surprised by its arrival, finally notices. The captain with reason. You were a spirit of this girl. Indeed. Loke agreed, the smoking fist. Loke. Rejoices Lucy. Sorry, my Lucy. And sorry also for dying so stupidly. Clapping his fist in his hand, he said. But now that I'm healed, I promise you that this time I will always be there when the fight ends. You seem very arrogant. Noticed Magi. But I wonder what you could do if our guys start targeting you, now and all together. Come on, kill him. However, nothing happened. There was no appearance, not even the slightest noise. But that wondered Magi and Morge. Guys. Oh, so the men I met were your comrades, questioned them Loke. In this case, no need to call them. It's been a while since I got rid of them. What? But who are you, exactly? I'm Loke. Presented his mind, loosening his tie. I am the Lucy spirit as well as that of the lion. From the lion? Was surprised Morge. Don't make me laugh, I'm going to show you what is a real lion. Richie attacks. However, he was surprised to find that his feline was trembling. Richie, what is happening to you? Staring at Loke, the lion started to moan in fear while backing away. Finally, raising his hand towards him, the spirit ordered him. Go away. It didn't take more for Richie to run away without asking for its rest. Richie, what did you do to him? I am the king of lions. Loke assured him, making his hands shine. So, Sagittarius, what if we got rid of them? Excellent idea. Assured the second spirit, repointing his bow towards the 2 men. Seeing them on the point of attacking them, Morge finally took flight in his turn, while Magi began to whistle. To say that everything could have gone perfectly if you had not shown yourself. Shut up and take this. Regulus beam. A ball of light suddenly came out of his hand before he threw it at Magi. And here is a little bonus. Cried Sagittarius, shooting new arrows. Seeing the 2 attacks sink on him, Magi just grabbed his hat before throwing it in front of him. Whirling then, the hat tripled in size and let the attacks penetrate inside and disappear there. But surprised Lucy, as well as her 2 spirits. I present you Chapey. Magi taught them, taking back his hat. It's a hat that ate the fruit of stock no me, there is now a bottomless pit where all objects can enter, except living things. What a hat that ate devil fruit. Repeated Lucy. Impossible. Wait to be on the Grand Line before saying that. Retorted Magi. This is where I come from and I came here to find some rest. However, I must admit that East Blue is far too quiet for my taste, this sea really contains very few real warriors. And, until proven otherwise, you and Mugiwara are not part of them. Then relaunching his hat in front of him, Magi saw Chapey began to spin and grow, before spitting out the arrows and Loke's attack, which he had just absorbed. What is great is that Chapey can not only absorb all attacks, but also reject them against their owners. Jumping immediately, Loke could, in extremis, avoid his Regulus beam. Nevertheless, not having his reflexes, Sagittarius was pierced on all sides by a rain of arrows before disappearing. Sorry, he could just shout. And hear the work. Sneered Magi. Motherfucker. Cried Loke, rushing at him. Can your hat not absorb living things? Very well, in this case Regulus impact. Making his fist shine, he swung it towards Magi. Not being in any way impressed, the pirate then plunged his hand into his hat before pulling out a metal plate the size of a chocolate bar. However, as soon as he threw it in front of him and become so large that it closed a real metal shield. Hitting it hard, Loke could only wince when his fist smashed against it without leaving the slightest scratch. This plate is made of titanium and is more than 15 centimeters thick. Magi taught him. It is much harder than the cage where Mugiwara was, good luck getting rid of it, so it was he who blocked the 2 buggy balls. Lucy understood, recognizing the plaque that had twice protected Buggy and his men. Regulus impact, cried Loke, pounding the plate again. There was still no damage. However, Magi then took out a submachine gun from his hat and began to target the spirit, which immediately fled on the roofs of the dwellings in order to protect itself from the bullets. Where do you think you are going? Let yourself go. Either way, you can never beat me. Then making a dozen jumps over the dwellings, Loke suddenly ends up landing on his back. You were saying, he asked, running towards him. Regulus impact. Simply starting to smile, Magi turned around immediately before shaking his cloak again. Several explosive bullets came out and exploded on hitting Loke. Loke. Lucy frightened. When the smoke was gone, she and Magi could see him with burnt skin and clothing and a knee on the ground. You're still here, wondered the man. Of course. Loke assured him, forcing himself to get up. I promised Lucy that I will be there to see your captain fall, no way to disappear before. You hear, you can never kill me. Oh, wondered Magi, starting to rummage in his hat. However, I asked myself a question. Suddenly taking out a rocket launcher, he asked. What would happen if I killed your mistress? What? At that moment, Magi pointed his weapon at Lucy, who could only back away when she saw him about to shoot. However, the man suddenly proposed to her. Give me your keys. What? Give me your keys. With them, I could become the greatest wizard in this world and, in return, I'm even ready to let you go. No way. Cried Lucy. I would never give you my keys even if you have to kill me. Why, after all, these are just monsters serving as your shield, right? The proof, they are so pitiful that they obey without thinking. Clenching her jaws, hearing this, Lucy then took out her whip before retorting. I forbid you to insult them. My spirits are not objects. No, they are my friends. Your friends, repeated the man, before sneering. Ha 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 ha, this joke is very good. By thinking so, you will never be able to make the most of the capabilities of these keys. No, only I could do it. Then firing, he let his projectile fire towards the blonde. Lucy, go, cried Loke. Ha ha ha. And 2. However, he stopped smiling when he saw the blonde suddenly disappear underground while his rocket flew over his head. But that, falling to the bottom of a hole, Lucy crashed violently as a voice questioned her. Have I arrived on time, Haim? Virgo recognized her. Lucy. Thank you very much. Frankly, Haim, if Loke and I had not appeared you would have died several times already. Remarked the servant. I would do without your comments. Retorted Lucy, starting to get up. I have to go help Loke. But before leaving Virgo's hole, she stopped before looking at the spirit. But wait, maybe. Yes, that's it. What just happened? Wanted to know Magi, trying to find Lucy with his gaze. You little Loke started, getting to his feet. Said the magician, seeing him boiling with rage. How did you dare to attack Lucy? Immediately running towards Magi, he shined his fist again, ready to throw it against the pirate's face. Didn't you understand that you are weak? Magi asked him, placing the metal plate in front of him. Hitting it again, Loke could only wince, feeling like the bones in his hand were breaking. However, he hit it again and again. Seeing him go on, Magi sneered before assuring. Yes, that's it, continuous. When you run out of energy it will be even easier for me to kill you. I will never lose to a guy like you. I will beat you whatever it costs me. Striking again, he punched everything he had left in his punch. Regulus explosion. His fist exploded, then released a wave of power which made Magi move back. What? His eyes widened when he heard his metal plate crack before breaking into small pieces. Impossible. Go to hell. It's you who will lose. Retorted Magi, taking back his hat. But as he was going to get something out of it, he felt his body fall to the ground as if it had suddenly disappeared. What he said as he found himself half-trapped in a hole dug by Virgo. It's done, Haim. Assured the servant, coming out of the ground. He is stuck. Losing his balance, Magi inadvertently dropped his hat, which was immediately surrounded by a whip. I got it. Rejoices Lucy. Go ahead, Loke. Take it in the teeth, the spirit roared, hitting Magi in the center of his face. Ah! Shouted the wizard before the explosion of Loke's fist made him leave the ground before sending him flying against the roof of a house. It's impossible. How could he have lost to East Blue Pirates? Fainting, he ends up disappearing inside the house, where he would stay there for a little while. Seeing him no longer able to fight, Loke ends up dropping on his buttocks while trying to catch his breath. Finally, good work, Loke. Cried Lucy, wrapping her arms around his neck. Blushing because of her gesture, Loke ends up saying. It was nothing, Lucy. I could never have lost to him. You were taking a defeat. Replied Virgo. Not even true. Loke replied. Suddenly hugging them, Lucy said. You were perfect, both of you. Thank you for everything. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.